have liquidity shortage in terms of reserves to meet foreign exchange demand. And that liquidity shortage halted growth and pushed us into instability. It was inadequate forex supply that brought the recession. And for growth to be sustained, you need to assure adequate forex supply. Your shortfall is about 40 to 50 billion, what you had been used to. Borrowing 2.5 billion in 2018 is a joke. Borrowing, was it, how much did we borrow last year? 4.5 billion was a joke. Okay, so you have to wake up that we have a liquidity problem. We have opportunity to mitigate that liquidity problem with capital inflows. We were timid. Time is going. The time that we've lost, we've lost. We could have done this 3 years ago. We did not. We could have done it 3 years ago. We could have done it a year ago. We didn't. That's lost. You know, bygones are bygones. So with purpose, we could still do it over the next 1 year, so that we at least know that we responded to that liquidity challenge. Until we respond, until we are sure adequate foreign exchange supply, growth, sustenance of growth cannot be assured, and stability cannot be assured. So those are the three problems that we have faced as a consequence of the current global economic realities. So it comes down to liquidity. So Nigeria does not have 5 problems. Nigeria does not have 4 problems. Nigeria doesn't have 3 problems. We don't have 2 problems. We have only 1 problem: getting adequate liquidity. Whether in terms of foreign exchange, particularly in terms of foreign exchange, but also in terms of government revenue. From our conversation, Nigeria is very well placed, extremely well placed to get such liquidity. But we have not taken the steps needed to get the liquidity. So the liquidity you seek is in order of 40, 50 billion US dollars a year. As a matter of fact, you can just go as the government has identified. You need 100 billion US dollars a year. And you can get it if you give foreign investors opportunity to own equity, not just lend you money. Because the income that you lost, that you are trying to replace, is permanent. So you shouldn't be trying to use a temporary, reversible inflow. So Nigeria's story, going forward, is that Nigeria needs to build up foreign reserve buffers. The reason why the fall in export revenue became a liquidity crisis for us was that we didn't have buffers. The reason it didn't become a liquidity crisis for Saudi Arabia was that they had buffers. And they drew down, when the crisis struck, they had more than $500 billion US dollars in reserves. And they've drawn down more than 100 billion in the reserves. That was what insulated their growth and stability. That was why Saudi companies did not suffer shortage of forex. So we've been hit. And that's why Nigeria has cyclical swings. Look at any Nigerian variable over the last 5 years. It's been up and it's been down. The exchange rate has gone from 150, 200, it's gone to 500, it's back to 360. For an economy of our size to be tossed up and down, it's not about the flight, it's also about that the flight should not be turbulent. You know, if we are, yes, it should not be turbulent. People get injured. Spill, bags falling all over the place. That's been the Nigerian experience. And the reason that is not that we have to experience it. Oil price could go wherever it wants. If you had buffers, the domestic economy will be spared that turbulence. So we've suffered it. We didn't need to. Going forward, we should try and put ourselves in a situation where we won't suffer the turbulence. And the key point is build up reserves. The difficulties that Nigeria has suffered had come because we didn't have adequate liquidity cover. Luckily, improvements in commodity prices, improvement in production, government borrowing that little debt that they had, and inflows of portfolio funds has seen reserves double, over the last 18 months. Key question is, will that trend continue? Because from June last year, when reserves were at 30 billion, to now, you've seen 50% growth in reserves. If that trend can continue, then you'll be sure that growth will be sustained and that stability, which since that June last year, the Naira has been at 360, about 360 on the primary market, compared with 305 on the official market. One key worry is, why would reserves move from 30 billion to 45 billion and the primary market rate will stay at 364? Is it not puzzling? The premium is constant. Because reserves growth means that the premium should narrow. Or you can ask, how much more does reserve has to grow for that premium to close? Because the presence of the premium tells you that the market is yet to be in equilibrium. So, outlook is whatever raises reserves further would narrow the premium and would ensure single-digit inflation. Because we are not anywhere close to the world of demand-pulled inflation. You are very much in the world of cost-pushed inflation. And the key cost is the parallel market rate, or, if you like, the premium. So the wider your premium, the faster prices will grow. The narrower your premium, the slower prices will grow. You can get deflation. So reserves are key for the sustenance of growth. Growth, the fragile growth. Whatever raises supply of forex will sustain growth. So you have a situation in which growth, exchange rate, inflation are all hinged on boosting reserves. So if everybody loves Nigeria and you want the growth and stability of the country, do something about reserves. And you are not helpless. You are not in a situation where you are helpless. Reserves are not limited to export revenue. They are not limited to export revenue. There's a capital glut on the global scene. So get capital inflow.